Thank you so much for the very nice introduction and the invitation. As mentioned, I will talk a bit about the Belgian initiative on the mobile health applications, and it's a short introduction, and I will give you a slight overview on how the system came to be and what it actually does and means for the Belgian population and people. Now, at first, why and what is the history about this this initiative? And to really go back to the grassroots of the initiative, we have to go back to 2015 when the Belgian government presented its eHealth plan, and which consisted about 20 action points, and then one of those was specifically action point 19, specifically focused on mobile health technology. And you can immediately ask the question, but well, why is this necessary? Well, it was really there to create a sort of a framework. As we all know, the applications or medical applications of pretending medical applications that are in the App Store are countless. And of course, for the Belgian caregiver, healthcare provider, general public, and patient, it's impossible to determine themselves what is a qualitative app and what is not a qualitative medical app. And therefore, the platform was created to really show you or show the users that what is a qualitative app, a medical app that takes privacy seriously, has a certain amount of evidence, and to present this kind of information to the general public. Now, as you all know, Belgium consists of quite a lot of authorities and responsible bodies within Belgium, and this is reflected again by the mHealthBELGIUM initiative. This initiative is actually a collaboration between all the authorities that are responsible with individual parts of this initiative, going from the ministry, going to the RISIF INAMI, responsible for reimbursement, the eHealth platform that is responsible for the digitalization of the Belgian healthcare, the federal services for medicine, and the federal government services. Aside of that, the two industry federations, Vimetech and Agoria is the one where I am a part of, then on their turn will or are running this platform from a day-to-day basis. And then in this responsibility, I am doing this on behalf of Agoria. Now, how does it look like? How does it feel like? And what is the purpose of this? Well, it's a website, obviously, that is generally accessible, and it is in 3 languages, reflecting again the how Belgium consists, and English is a big part of this as well, due to the fact that it's not only for Belgian companies, but for all companies that are active within Belgium. So English is a natural choice here. And as mentioned, the website itself serves to give the information to the broad public, patients, healthcare professionals, healthcare institutions, and so on. An important connotation here, however, is that it's not a full market scan. So it's not an obligation as a mobile health provider to register on this particular platform. And secondly, it is driven by and for companies. So an application can really exist aside of the platform. However, it will lose certain advantages that I will discuss later on. But it's a free space. During the time that the whole idea was conceived, a number of test projects were done over the course of 4 years. And what eventually came out of all of these test pilots and cases is what we see here, and that is the validation pyramid. The reason why we chose a validation pyramid is that every layer builds upon itself or on the next one. And every level, we'll call these 3 M levels, so M1, M2, and M3. You can condense the complete content of such a level in one basic sentence, meaning that the first one is, as an application, I am a CE certified medical device. Second level, the M2 level, is I am safely connected. I will get back to that, what it all means in a second. But and the third level is I show a social economic advantage, and I am reimbursed by the RISIF or INAMI in Belgium. Now, if we go into a little bit more detail on what these criteria actually are, the first level, meaning the basic level, the entry level, so to say, is based around 3 important criteria. And the first criterion is actually a strong one, being that the application has to have a CE medical device label. If not, you cannot access the platform as an application. Secondly, you have to notify your application at the federal governmental services that will have a closer look on the CE labeling and all the compliance that comes out of this. And the third and the last point for the M1 level is an auto declaration on the GDPR level. Our role here, and in particular my role here, is I check whether all of these documents are there on a daily basis. If they are there, that means that on a certain level, the apps show a certain quality, especially with the CE medical device. What eventually they will put on the website, which I will show you now, that is the responsibility and the sole responsibility of the app manufacturer themselves. So we look at the objective criteria, and this is how the validation pyramid has been conceived. There are objective criteria, and then you have the information that can be put out there by the manufacturer. To show you this difference, is I took an example here of a Belgian application, and you can see, well, they have a short description that you can see on the left side of the slide. On the right upper corner, you can see, okay, they are a level 1, again with the core sentence of what this all means. And then secondly, you can see the downloadable platforms. So we don't only accept the apps on a phone or an iPad or a tablet, but we accept web applications as well. So the scope is quite wide. Obviously, the languages are there as well, together with the link to the website. You can go into a little bit more detail on the description themselves, and again, this is provided by the manufacturer. Target audience, for example, how this all works, and how the financing model works. But if we go to the second tab, there we can see the objective criteria. You can see here, yes, they comply, or they declare to be compliant with the GDPR rules. They indicate that the data is only stored within the EU. And the class 2A medical device, they have 2 ISO standards, because this is there's a space for that to indicate this as well. And you can see the number that was given by the federal agency themselves. So the whole thing is there to show the transparency of the process as well. And then last but not least, you have the opportunity as an app developer to show your pretty pictures and how it all works, and to basically show you how it all works. If you want to go to a higher level, being the M2, and again, in turn, this is why it's a pyramid. To go to the second level, you have to comply with the first level. So it's not a buffet. So you can't tell, you can't say as an app provider, I'm just going to do level 3. I'm just interested in the reimbursement, or I'm just interested in being level 2. But the other levels don't talk to me, so I won't do it. No, it's a 1 and 2 and 3 step. So this is why the first criterion for level 2 is complying with level 1. Then the way of working for the level 2 is a bit different than level 1. So here we will work with what we call a risk assessment on the criteria that have been imposed by the platform. And these criteria can be set up in 6 bigger chapters or bigger criteria, being the first, what is the app classification? And this is with regard to GDPR. Is it the 1, 2, or 3 category app? This in turn will have an implication on the other criteria that follow, whether you're in 1 category, 2, or a 3 category. But for the sake of simplicity, I will just go over the different criteria in general. An important one here is that the criterion for 2 is that the identification has to be done or somewhere in the system. The passport number of the patient has to be in the system. Third one is how the people that use the application are identified. There are a number of ways of doing this that will comply with the mHealth Belgium processes, but the the common denominator of them all is that it's not an email and password. It has to be a higher level of identification. Category 4 allows you to indicate a therapeutic relationship between the user, the patient, and the caregiver. Criterion 5 is the interoperability. That is very important in this one. So you have to indicate what standards that you are using, and so forth. And then on the 6th criterion, we go a little bit into more detail on the GDPR side of things. Now, what is the difference if you look on the website? Well, on the top-hand corner, on the right-hand corner, you can see, well, they are level 2. On this, anything else stays pretty much the same. However, on the second tab, remember on the slide for the M1 level, we add quite a bit of information here. So here you can see, with regard to the criteria, the answers that the company has given. In this case, we were talking about a category 3 GDPR app. They are using other standards than suggested here. They are not using secured messaging and so forth. So you can see. So again, this is very transparent system. Now, level 3. As you might expect, a lot of applications are really aiming for this level 3, which is not always the case. I'm first going to go into a bit detail on that as to why not and why they would go to a reimbursement, because it's important to say that the level 3 procedure is still under development. Now, why would an application not go for the reimbursement? There are some applications that are supporting some kind of a device or some other process of a company, and then it doesn't make any sense. And the reason why they apply to the mHealthBELGIUM platform then is to really show that they are really concerned about privacy issues, that they really take all the CE medical device, all the regulations very seriously, and then in turn they can use the mHealthBELGIUM logo and all the communication that comes out of this, and so they can immediately show to the outside world that they really have very good intention on the use of the application. Now, of course, most of them will try to go for a reimbursement to really have this integration of the application within a care part of a patient. What we know already is that level 1 and 2 will be a criterion. Now, and secondly, we already will know that there has to be a demonstrated socioeconomic value that has to be demonstrated to the body in Belgium that is responsible for reimbursement. We expect this soon. This procedure will likely be announced pretty soon. It won't take any years anymore. We expect it quite soon, but it's a bit soon to tell on how it will work. Now, on the website itself, we are planning to show that if an application has submitted a request, is it accepted? Is it approved? Is it rejected? So this is the transparency again that we want to show on the level 3. Note, however, that in Belgium, some insurance companies are already reimbursing solely on the base that it is on the mHealthBELGIUM platform. So again, it's not an obligation to be on the mHealthBELGIUM platform, but it comes with certain advantages, and one of them is this one. Secondly, some hospitals will work out separate financing for the applications. Because the quality is there, it's objectively determined on an objective basis, and so it has its value. Maybe some of you already saw the example that there is a precedent already, so to say. So indeed, the Belgian government is doing a study on reimbursement, and one of the applications that is being reimbursed now is the mHealth application in a clinical trial environment and so forth. But yes, this is one of the applications that is already reimbursed. The structural solution, this is still work in progress, but this explains why you already, or you might already saw some articles in newspapers, or you already read about some of these reimbursements. Now, to conclude, we have these 3 levels that are very well outlined and how they work, which 2 of those 3 levels are already active. Third one being the reimbursement is still a work in progress. Level 2, as I'm safely connected, identification is done right. So who is using the app together with who, what data is being used, how interoperable are all the links that are being made. Level 1 is I am a CE medical device. I am notified at the federal agencies level, and I complied with the GDPR rules. For now, we have 24 applications already there. 7 of them are M2. The number is growing quite quickly, and the goal, so to say, after more than a year and a half that the platform is active, is easily being reached. And it was a pleasure to talk about it once more. And thank you for the invitation once more. Thank you so much.